America's top commander in Afghanistan, General John Campbell, is blasting President Obama's plan to slash the number of U.S. troops in Afghanistan.
Only a few years ago, our coalition numbered over 140,000 military personnel. Now our forces comprise of fewer than 14,000, of which approximately 10,000 are U.S. servicemen and women. Collectively, the Afghan security forces are adapting to these changes, and in some places, they're struggling.
And it's not just the general. Senator John McCain says President Obama's plan to withdraw troops is not only political, but dangerous. Iowa Senator Joni Ernst and members of the Senate Armed Services Committee joins me, and I must add that she's a vet, having served in Afghanistan and Iraq, right?
In Iraq,
not
and Afghanistan.
All right. What's your thought on General John Campbell says that he's worried about the strategy? What is the president's strategy? Do you know?
Well, I don't know that strategy. We lack from the administration a clear, coherent strategy in Afghanistan. We see the rise of Taliban forces. We see the rise of ISIS, which is something that General John Campbell had mentioned today in the Senate Armed Services Committee. There is no strategy.
Do you think that the general, it was quite stunning when he said that. He's basically said we got to do something else. Do you think he's communicating that first to the White House, to the President Obama, before he comes out before the Senate committee and says that? I
do believe he is communicating that. He is a no-nonsense commander. He is revered amongst all of our military members. And he has put forward a revised plan for the president and the administration. He was not able to detail that to us today. But we know that the president needs to look at what his military leaders are stating as fact, which is we see ISIS gaining a foothold in eastern Afghanistan, and we see the Taliban taking back cities that we once occupied.
All right. Is it political because the president's current plan is to pull out of Afghanistan by the end of 2016, which is when he says, when he turns off the lights at the White House and a new administration starts? Is that why it's political?
And well, it is political from the president's perspective because he is just setting goals, a random goal based on a calendar, not based on capabilities or operations on the ground, which is what we need to evaluate. And that's what the general was stating today.
All right. Hospital, that terrible incident in Afghanistan at Doctors Without Borders. How did that happen?
Well, that is an interesting question, and it is something that will be looked at. The DOD is investigating right now. General Campbell says this was a mistake, so we know it's a very regrettable
But how does a mistake? It said that it came from up the chain of command.
Well, again, we have U.S. soldiers that are on the ground there. They are to train, advise, and assist. So we know the information came from Afghanistan soldiers, and they were the ones that made that call for help. Now, how it happened that we struck that hospital, that's not known yet. Again, DOD will investigate.
Nobody wanted this to happen.
No,
nobody at all, except maybe the terrorists on this. But is that when the Afghan says, go hit this target, do we go hit the target, or don't we have any sort of way of monitoring and double checking?
Well, I believe there is protocol in place where we do double check those coordinates, and we know what we are striking. We don't know what happened, and I can't speculate on what happened right now. We know that there are a number of investigations going forward. DOD will be one, NATO will be another.
Well, there's been a lot of criticism of the U.S. having civilian casualties in Afghanistan. This is obviously enormously, besides being tragic for the loss of life, this is not good for us.
Very regrettable.
Senator, thank you. Nice to see you.
Great to see you.
And the death toll